I made this video, the most horrible no-good chess website for improvement. It's Chessreps. And in it, I mocked the website relentlessly. Black has blundered. Weekend takes a free pawn. Their most popular course, by the way. Weekend takes their free pawn. Smeagol can take their free pawn. Because I think it's bad. What I didn't know is that the same day, someone joined my Discord. Ethan at Chessreps. Ethan, I recognized as the name of the founder of Chessreps. Surely not. Surely. You can imagine my surprise. I'm Ethan, founder of Chessreps at RedPanda. I'd love to hop on a call with you and talk about the site and what I'm doing to improve it. Okay. You might understand that from my perspective, I'm thinking like, oh, he's gonna strong army into deleting the video. Or maybe he's even gonna threaten legal action. I was not flattering about Chessreps in the slightest because I think it's a bad website. That move defends the e4 pawn. That doesn't really affect us or our plans. What do you mean it doesn't affect us or our plans? This move shapes our entire understanding of the opening. That's just castle, bro. He wanted to reach out to hear my criticisms and he wanted to tell me what he was planning on improving in the future. We had a little interview and I'm gonna show it to you and I'm gonna interject at points to share my thoughts. Before we dive in, I will say one thing. I do not think that in its current form, Chessreps is a good educational platform. Second of all, I think Ethan is a cool guy because I don't think there's a lot of people who would see a video, the most horrible no good chess website for improvement, and would think to themselves, that guy seems like someone that I can collect feedback on. For that, very cool. And during our conversation, I told him some points of critique that I had. At some points he disagreed with me, at other points he agreed with me, and he told me that he's gonna try and do better. And for that, I will applaud him. So let's dive into it. Could you, from your perspective, just explain like what Chessreps is and what its mission is? So the reason why I asked this question is not just because I want a character introduction, but it's also because I want to establish common ground so that we know what exactly we're talking to. It would be a bit too simple for a CEO to go like, actually, our company isn't a rocket company. We're an interstellar communal space for AI research and development and the brighter betterment of humanity. So you say that our rockets aren't good is really missing the whole point. We don't want that. So first, let's establish a baseline and then we can move on from there.
Chessreps is a chess opening trainer. By the way, I'm Ethan. I'm the founder of Chessreps. Chessreps is just me. It's not venture backed. There's no real company. There's no employees. So I do the programming of the website. All the main courses of the website that are not community courses are so far written by me. The mission of Chessreps is for it to be the best, most affordable, most accessible chess trainer on the internet.
Ethan mentioned if you go to the Chessreps page, there are community courses and they're like the recommended courses, right? And he mentioned most of them, I don't know which amount, has been written by Ethan. Ethan himself, he is about 13 to 1400 on chess.com, as he'll say later. Just for the sake of intellectual honesty, I think he should be a little bit more transparent about that. As if I click on the London course, for example, honestly, if I click on any course, it doesn't say anywhere who it's made by. And I think that if you want to make an honest chess product and you ask people money for it, then you should do that. Most chess books will have an author on it. I personally don't think that this should always have to be the case. For example, if we go to the Lead Chess study tabs, there are a lot of studies here. Sometimes you can see the accounts. Other times that account might have only courses and like no games, so you don't know which level it is. But I will say at that point, the main difference is that this is completely free and Chessreps is a paid product. To offer some advice here to Ethan, for the sake of transparency, you should be more upfront about this. To be fair and honest, I put the exact same question in front of Ethan and his answer was, first, how I create courses is a bit complex. It's a mixture of these various factors. For both course creation and my name and story, I've always been really upfront about this whenever asked. I have just never received feedback that people want both who I am and how I made the course put on the website. This is genuinely the first time anyone's asked for it to be on the site itself, but I love this kind of input and I update the site based on feedback like this pretty much every day. If it's something you want to see, I'm 100% down to add it. If he adds this, that's fantastic. That's also why I'm willing to do this, because I think through collaboration and through mutual discussion, we can maybe uplift standards in the chess world.
How I started Chessreps actually was I really want to practice the Vienna Gambit, and I tried buying a chessable course on the Vienna Gambit. I was pretty frustrated for a couple of things. One, I thought the software wasn't quite there yet. I kind of wanted to play the moves out on the board, but instead it would kind of let me navigate through a PG entry. And the second thing is the lines that they were teaching me were Grandmaster and Engine lines. I am 1300 ELO, peak basically. In the games I play, people typically blunder in the openings like 7 or 8 moves deep. And I want to be able to just quickly memorize how do I recognize those blunders and take advantage of it. Before Chessreps, I was a software engineer. I've been coding for like 8 years. I figured, oh, I can just quickly make my own trainer like on a chessboard that will just like on rails, basically like a scripted. I will play E4, and it'll respond back E5, and we'll play the Vienna Gambit. I'll go through the opening, and then I'll go through it again and again and again. I'll do a bunch of repetitions of this, and I built that in the weekend, and I posted it on Reddit to see if other people would also like it, and they did. I got like 4 comments. One of them, I remember, it said, "Wow, this is so great. I played for it for an hour today." If somebody, can play on my website for an hour, I was like, there's something here. That's really cool. So I went head down for a month, and I added a bunch of things to the website. So I made 6 courses total. I added a bunch of game modes. I did profiles and progress, a couple other features, and I made it a subscription, $50 for a year, and you get all 6 courses. And I released that a month later, and so Chessreps started from there. And since then, all I've done to the site is add more and make it cheaper.
You mentioned you want the Chessreps to be the highest quality platform that you can make it. I noticed that you can, as a community member, upload a course. I think in a lot of regards that's fantastic. But on the other hand, if you want it to be the highest quality platform that it can be, you do need to some degree have quality assurance. What do you currently do to ensure that the courses have a high degree of quality to them? Now, the reason why I'm asking the question, like I said, Chessreps, community courses, and Ethan courses. The Ethan courses don't have the quality that I would feel comfortable telling my subscribers to, like, hey, go check out this product. Zach has abandoned the card of the G7 pawn. Let's play Queen G4 to attack it. I don't like that you're just telling me the answer. Why? What? Why are you just telling me the correct move? What is this? You're also not just giving me a hint. If it's like the G7 pawn is now unprotected, try and find a way that you can like play against this. You might come up with Queen G4, but there's still some calculation to do. So first you check Bishop F4, Queen G7, then that's like, okay, that's winning. And then you think E5 with the discovery, but I can still just take, so that looks good. And then you think about like King F8 or G6. Maybe I can even try H4. But yeah, H4 is like, then there's this E5 ID. Ha, look at that. That's cute. Yeah, so okay, I mean, like here, and then so G6 is probably the response. Because if I can't throw my H pawn at it immediately, it's probably okay. And what do I do then? Maybe I chop? I'm not even sure G4 is like, Queen G4 is the best move. It probably is if they have it in the open, of course. Let me pull up the engine. All right, here's the position. And Bishop D6 is most played on the Masters database and on the Lichess database, so that's already pretty good. Masters don't really tend to play Queen G4. And what does the engine have to say? Okay, yeah, the engine does really like it. And indeed, yeah, G6, because you can't play H4 because of E5. I mean, that's a fun little idea to know. All right, so let's see. Queen G4. Black has blundered. If you are learning an opening, what is more important than memorizing the line is understanding why you make them. And that is currently not being done. The Ethan courses are poorly explained, but they also have community courses, right? And the community courses can be made by whoever.
The answer here is right now, we don't do much to ensure quality of community courses. Over December of 2025, I allowed people to create their own courses. This was like a super highly requested feature for like months and months. And I worked with a couple creators, and I built this feature and I released it. And it was originally just, you can create your own course and study it yourself. And then pretty much immediately in the Chessreps Discord, people started sending links of their own courses to one another. And they're like, hey, check out my course, check out my course. And this became so big that we actually started a new channel in our Discord just for where you can go send your own courses. And then people really liked using that. And so I figured, well, why not just make this a first-class feature in Chessreps where you can click in one button, publish, and anyone else on Chessreps can go see that course. I mean, I don't really do any quality checking in terms of what's the quality of this course, the same way that maybe Reddit or YouTube doesn't really do any quality checking of, is this video of good quality or is this post of good quality? I mean, I have some anti-spam systems like YouTube and Reddit, but the truth is if you just release like a poorly made YouTube video, YouTube will just keep it on there. It'll just get like fewer plays basically. And the same thing happens on Chessreps is you have this upvote system and you'll see that higher quality courses that maybe are more comprehensive or have better descriptions will get more hearts and they'll rise to the top of the hot page. And then sometimes they'll go to the top page. Okay, but you asked a really important question, which is like, hey, if you want to have a high quality website, like what are you doing about this? Because your current community course feature isn't really giving you necessarily the highest quality courses. And I completely agree. The quality of courses on Chessreps are that is made by me, and I think the quality can absolutely be better. So it's something I've been doing for the past 10 days, and it's not released yet because it takes some time for courses to be created. Is I'm contacting tons and tons of title players. I'm getting them to write courses for Chessreps, and they will be released basically at the top of Chessreps. So a bunch of FMs, IMs, and GMs will release courses. Like I said, with my whole thesis statement of Chessreps is I just want to add more to the site and make it cheaper. As I release what will be a catalog of dozens of IM, FM, and GM courses to Chessreps. And here you'll have the confidence that you have really good Chessreps software, as well as courses that are written by actual title players. So you can fully trust exactly what the lines are and exactly how they analyze the lines.
Let's keep track. Commitments that Chessreps has made. 1. Courses will have disclosure telling people who made them with some proof of competency, i.e. ELO. 2. Chessreps will have courses made by titled players on them on the homepage. Now, personally, on the second one, I will be happy if on the homepage all of the courses in the future will be made by titled players and none of them by Ethan. Because, to be fair, if you have Fabiano Caruana promote your website, it's probably the level of competency that people expect. Now, let's quickly go about what he just said. First of all, the bad. Community courses not having quality assurance is a bad thing. I think that the like system is good, but I also think that will only get you so far. Maybe something you could do is have a trending page in which you have picks from the community, where a strong player will select good community courses. But maybe you can go about it some entirely different way. But I think you need some degree of quality assurance. It's important when you're offering people a product that promises to improve people's level of play. Otherwise, you simply cannot guarantee that and you are making a bad product. Now, something that I really, really like is the fact that he's reaching out to titled players. I think that's fantastic. And I really like that. Now, currently, he hasn't done it yet. And I will hold you accountable. Do it, Ethan. If you don't do it, I will call you out for it. But if he does, then I think that's fantastic. And I think Chessreps as a platform will have improved substantially from that. Community courses not having oversight, I think is bad. Chessreps reaching out to titled players, I think is good. What you said confuses me a little bit. You are saying that we care a lot about the quality of our products, and I mean, obviously you are taking people's money, and that is a commitment, right? You provide a service, and to me it is then a little bit surprising how few quality assurance safeguards you've had until now. I think it's fantastic that you're going to hire title players. I also do think that on the flip side of this, if you are promoting a product like Chessreps and you didn't have the necessary quality assurance, that does in some regard kind of break the trust that you have with the people buying your product. I think that is maybe a bad thing to do if you're wanting to sell an honest product and you say to people that you want to offer the highest quality that you can. If what you're offering people is the highest quality product that you can make, and you have courses that are sometimes quite bad, in my humble opinion, that can kind of break the trust with your consumer. So I was asking him about that.
Basically, you said, Ethan, there's no safeguards that you have currently on the quality of courses. So on the quality of community courses, like we talked about, there's a couple things. There's the upvote system and there's the coverage score that I display. But I mean, yes, that is really a community-driven. Good courses rise to the top, and it's not like I'm there vetting which courses are allowed to be seen or not seen. In terms of Ethan courses and the quality of Ethan courses, which are the main courses that you have on the site, I think it depends on what you define as quality. So these lines, I'm confident that the moves I suggest are typically the top or one of the top engine moves. Or if they're not, there's typically a very good reason for that, but they're going to, I mean, you will never play a Chessreps line and end up -1. It just won't happen, because almost worst case is you will just come out of the opening neutral with your opponent, and that's because both of you guys play very well. How I handle lines from the opponent is I typically just look at the lead chess common moves. So that's a huge difference from a Chessreps course versus a Chessable course, which is I look at lead chess common moves. I don't necessarily look at Grandmaster lines or engine lines. And it is absolutely true that I will omit responses from the opponent that might be the quote unquote top move if it just turns out that opponents don't play it. The promise of Chessreps is never, I'm going to teach you how to beat Stockfish, or I'm going to teach you how to beat an opponent who plays perfectly. I'm trying to teach you how to actually navigate through your actual games against positions that you'll actually face. If at your ELO, people never play rook d8, I just don't think it's something I need to teach. I just had to push back that like that makes the course bad quality. I just think it makes it different than the typical courses you see. I literally have 1,000 testimonials of people who say that the Chessreps courses actually help them.
Now, personally, I think omitting lines that are objectively the best is almost always a bad thing. And while I think that the philosophy, teaching people what they're most likely to face, is a valid one, and I can accept that this might just be a difference in philosophy, but since a course like the Queen's Gambit Accepted only covers 16 lines, very likely doing your due diligence will only double or triple the amounts of lines covered. I feel like if you want to offer the best possible service, you should keep in mind the objective truth of a chess position. And once again, I threw the same question towards Ethan, and he responded. The message is a little bit too long for me to read out right now, but you can pause it if you want. Essentially what he's saying, doubling or tripling lines would increase the cognitive load on their end user, and that Chessreps isn't the place to learn the best lines, it's the place to learn the lines that you're most likely to face at certain ELO levels. If you look at Chess Moods, they have like sections where they tell this course is for beginners, this course is for intermediate, and this course is for advanced players. When you're saying that like, hey, yes, there are like inaccuracies, but certain lines we don't think really apply to lower ELOs, but wouldn't it be a quite simple fix to then just specify that in your course for the sake of intellectual transparency? If I go to Chessreps, they will ask me what ELO I am, but that doesn't really impact which courses I see, nor does it really show here, like Queen's Gambit Accepted, and it can be between brackets, like from 800 ELO to 1200 ELO or whatever, and it could say like somewhere who it's made by, right? It's made by Ethan for non-ELO Chesterton, something like that, because by omitting these details, I think you're making a less good product. I think if you have Fabiano promote your website, then like people expect a certain degree of quality, and if you are a complete beginner, you can't judge the quality of a course as good as some more advanced player might be, which I think is where like all the criticism to Chessreps even stems from. I think a very easy way to solve it is by just being honest about it. Even if you think you have a good product, despite the fact that you omit certain lines, then you should also feel comfortable sharing that. And I mentioned Chessmood. This is just a website where people sell opening courses, and it will say for 800 to 2000 level. And here, if you go middle game mastery, it will go 1500 to 2600, 1800 to 2600, 1200 to 2200. It shows you who is this course made for, and it will tell you who is this course made by. And I just think that's something that you should add.
You said two things there. The first thing is you said, Ethan, when you have inaccuracies in your course. I don't think I have any inaccuracies in my course in terms of the moves that are played. If you find an inaccuracy, please let me know and I will fix it. None, like again, like I'm super willing to change things on my website. What I did say was there are certain things in my course that I omit, certain lines in my course that I omit that are perfectly reasonable responses from your opponent and might maintain an equal evaluation. But I don't teach because I think it's unlikely that somebody at that ELO would play it. Actually, when I say I think, I use actual data from like Lead Chess Games to know that somebody at your ELO just won't play it, or they'll play it like 5% of the time. I just wouldn't call that an inaccuracy. I would call that like an intentional omission of a line that isn't worth knowing.
So this position I got from the Noel video. I just think that it would be such an easy fix. If you look at the Lead Chess database, 78% play rook e8. But if like the difference is this big, you can at least tell people. I feel like there's a very simple middle ground to reach here.
And I'm sure Noel in his games should learn that line. But I'm also sure that people of Noel's ELO will recognize pretty much immediately when they try and take an Ethan course that it's not for them. And that's okay. There's other features on the website that they can use.
But it doesn't seem like a big problem if you have something like an engine eval on the side, or if you have something like this course is for beginners, this course is for intermediates. So to me that seems like, given the way you've answered the questions, would be a valid criticism of Chessreps. Is that something that you'd be willing to like add in the future, or is that something you haven't thought of yet, or is that something you disagree with?
Okay, so you mentioned two suggestions there. One is an eval on the side. That is an option in Chessreps that tons and tons of players turn on. If you go to the settings, you can just click show eval bar. Like I feel like there's maybe this idea that there's some evilness going on in Chessreps and they're purposely showing you bad lines. What would be the incentive on my end to ever show bad lines? Like I want people to win their chess games. I'm doing this to make a good chess trainer, and making a good line and making a bad line cost the same. I'm focused. I use these courses. I'm focused on making Chessreps actually good lines that happen in real games where you have good responses. There's no like cost cutting by like showing like bad lines or bad moves. It's as easy to make a good move. There is an eval bar option. Having a like for beginners, for intermediates, for advanced, I think totally makes sense. And actually, I am going to add that. I'm going to make that part of like the onboarding, where after you submit your ELO range, there's going to be certain courses that are recommended to you. So I think that is great feedback.
3 recommended ELO ranges per course and in the onboarding. Ethan's willingness to accept feedback and improve the website based on that, very good. Props to you, man. And then having an eval bar option, genuinely, I missed that. So if I go, for example, here in the settings, show evaluation bar, there we go. Here's what I think. If you are doing the repetition, you can have this as a toggleable option. However, I think in the starting menu, it would be good to just have this on by default. If you go here 9G5 and you see like here, there's now a massive jump in the evaluation, then at the very least you are now aware that Black has made a mistake in doing this. Maybe when you're going through the course for the first time, have it on by default. However, the point about people being able to recognize when a course is made for them, it is quite difficult to figure out if you aren't above this required skill level already, who a course is made for.
I absolutely believe Chessreps courses are of like high quality in the sense that the lines I teach are real practical lines where you're doing well, but still Chessreps is not for everyone. To just tell you like numbers about Chessreps, it's like less than 1% of people who hear the word Chessreps in a video will go to the website. And if people go to the video of the, people go to the website, it's like less than 1% of them will actually like become a member. When you become a member, you get a 7-day free trial before your card is charged. That's plenty of time to go explore the website and see, is this something for you? There's absolutely a refund guarantee. I only want people who pay for Chessreps to be people who love Chessreps and people who use it. I never want anyone to feel like they got like their money taken out of their wallet without them explicitly wanting to pay for that service.
Is there something else you'd like to address, right? Or something else you want to touch upon in this conversation, in this video, that you think might have not been told correctly, or something that you think really needs to be out there?
Honestly, I'm just really happy I had this time with you. I'm a complete open book on Chessreps. I love it so much. Sometimes I'm like blinded by love for it. I'm really happy to give me some sort of platform to like speak on. Also, Panda, if you have like any follow-up questions or whatever, would love to do this again. I mean, I know this was like a very impromptu call, and if you want to get like more specific like sound bites or whatever for the video, we can do that. But actually, I have a question for you, Panda. Like, okay, you've kind of heard my story. You've heard like my motivation with Chessreps and where I see it going. When you think back to that Null video now, and it's okay if you think like certain body paragraphs are valid, like maybe Chessreps should explain certain positions a bit better. But are there like, is Chessreps like a no good, very bad, terrible chess trainer?
I am personally of the opinion, and in that sense I might agree a little bit with Noel. A lot of beginners get targeted like quite a lot by people who are just trying to sell them a product that I don't think improves their play per se. What to me has always been a problem if then someone turns around and says like, with my product I can guarantee this much elo increase, and then like, so like give me your money. On that regard, like when I view Chessreps, I think it's great that you do the refunds. I think it could be a better product than it currently is. I am very much still of the opinion, if you are a beginner, genuinely there are like way better ways to spend your money. And even I think if you're a beginner, you shouldn't spend any money on chess, but that's my personal philosophy. I think it's great that we're doing this and that we're having this conversation, and I'm definitely more than happy to platform you and platform a response. And you have a lot of good intentions. And I think that it's genuinely fantastic that some of the things you're trying to do are genuinely fantastic in improving the platform, in hiring like ton chess players to improve them. But if I have to answer, do I think that Chessreps currently is a good service that I would say to my subscribers, I would recommend you spend your money on this? My answer would be no.
That's interesting. I mean, you mentioned that, one of the reasons for this. Okay, so if we go for reasons of this, there's one, ELO guarantee, right? I agree. I mean, there's that graph that like happens in the onboarding where I say like your ELO could go to like, up to 100. If you use Chessreps, all right, that's getting scrapped. It's getting removed from the website. So there will be like no like ELO guarantee on the website. Completely agree. Even with that not there, you mentioned one other, like, so the other critique was, well, I'm not sure any beginner should spend money on chess, right?
That's my personal
Was there any other, okay, sure. Was there any other critique about the website in general, besides, an elo guarantee.
The way you said like the one-liners and like trying to explain the moves. For example, I looked at like Queen G4 in the London course in my video, right? And
Okay.
I looked at that and I thought like, oh, this line is kind of complicated, because to me it seemed like a unprincipled move, moving your queen out early and like provoking G6 if you follow like the main computer line, which is a weakening of your opponent's structure, but like you can undermine that, but it doesn't quite work. So if I'm like thinking about like how would I make a product like Chessreps, and in a way that I think is more instructive, personally what I would do is I would like the person trying to go through those lines for the first time to try and solve it themselves, because ultimately I do think the more of an active participant in the learning process that you are, the more likely it will even stick in your memory. But then also I think that if you look at those lines, if I look at it, I think it's like, oh, this is like a really drawish variation as opposed to like, and because and you saw like it was tricky, and you're also absolutely right there. And I do agree with you. If you're like 1500 lead chess or like 1200 chess.com or whatever, then it is a tricky line and you can score a lot of wins with that. I think the explanations are just like too subpar, and it also doesn't sit quite right with me that there isn't like some more like disclaimer to it. So hey, like by the way, this is the best move and you should know this, or like, or you know, it's like I feel like there should be something, or like if you're a stronger player, it's like less likely you see this. So the course is for like this elo range. There are some things about Chessreps that don't sit quite right with me as to why I personally wouldn't like recommend it to my audience.
You mentioned a couple of things there. One being the descriptions of why we should make the moves don't necessarily capture the nuance. Another one being line selection. First, you said there's certain lines in certain courses where I don't agree with the move that you said you should play. So maybe in that case, we shouldn't have brought the queen out. And then the other critique here is, Ethan, like this course is like, for let's say a 1500 elo, you're not necessarily teaching what to do when they play the best line, and I feel like you should teach what to do when they play the best line.
Or at the very least, I think that it's fine to make a course targeted at beginners and what they're likely to face, but then I think it should be very well set. By the way, if you're at like certain elo levels, that might not be for you, and currently that is missing from the website.
I will definitely agree with most of what you said. So descriptions don't capture certain nuances of positions. Like I think like, yes, I think two things. I think people who use Chessreps and decide to pay for it know, there's kind of two things. There's people who use Chessreps and decide to pay for it and use it every day, know what a Chessreps course feels like. And it is like that, like 140 characters, tweet-like description. And there's no surprises there, and there's no like difference in guarantee. But for sure, there's a whole demographic of players who want more description, right? Like I actually want to know with more depth as to like what this position means and why we should be doing certain things beyond something like, let's move our queen out and attack like the G7 pawn or whatever that position was. Mm-hmm. So I agree. And then the other issue that you had with the course was in some cases you're critiquing the move that Chessreps said, not in the sense that like the elo goes down, but more in the sense of like it just isn't what you would play basically, or it isn't what you'd recommend somebody to play. Like you're not sure if you would recommend somebody to even bring the queen out in the first place. Is that right?
Yeah, it's more so about like what I feel like would be principled, because if you're like targeting beginners, it's like you can teach them a lot of tricky lines, but I think at the end of the day, if you want to make the highest quality service, you should teach them principled chess.
I think this is like super valid. I again tell you like kind of how we quote unquote like got into this situation. I just made a few courses for myself. People like them, so I kept making more courses, and people like those too. And it was always like if you don't like the courses, you don't use Chessreps, and if you like the courses, use Chessreps. But now it's like if you don't like the courses, like you say Chessreps is like a terrible platform. That's like, of course I want to fix that, and I want Chessreps to be the best platform and the best brand. And so just to tell you like where Chessreps is going, it takes like a month for a lot of these people to make courses, but I'm hiring people to I'm hiring IMs, FMs, and GMs to make courses. I'm going to be like removing the Ethan courses. Like they serve their purpose. They took like Chessreps maybe off the ground. I'm removing them and I'm putting in a bunch of like courses that you would otherwise find from these title players, and they'll be swapped in. And players studying on Chessreps will actually get like titled advice, like not necessarily Ethan advice after that. I hope, like, do you think that those, in terms of like description, nuance, and line selection, like how principled they are, do you think that ideally, like hopefully, like, those are addressed in the titled courses that are coming out?
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely hope so. And man, like if like 2 months from now or whatever timeline you're thinking about, you think like, hey, RedPanda, I think we have done it. I think we've made it. Then I'm more than willing to go back to Chessreps, right? Like, genuinely, if you think that like we've changed the product in certain ways, then like I'm more than willing to give it a second look over. So you're saying like we're gonna improve the website. You agree with certain feedbacks, you disagree with others, as is normal. You know, I feel like that's very fine. Just to wrap it up real quick, because my partner is looking at me weird.
Sure.
Because they walked in midway through the interview. Is there the last thing you'd want to say? Just as a closing statement.
I think Chessreps is not a perfect website. You're hearing from the guy who like made it. It's absolutely not a perfect website. But I'm working hard every single day to make it a perfect website. And when a video like Noel's comes out or a video like RedPanda's comes out, there's absolutely really good feedback in those videos that I'm adding to the website. I'm going to make it better and better. Yeah, like a month from now, when those better courses come out, I'm going to let you know. And hopefully, you know, you try it out, and maybe it's not such a no good, terrible, very bad chess website. And maybe it's even something that you like and would recommend. But if it's not, that's okay. Like, I am so receptive to feedback. Everyone who subscribes to Chessreps, this is literally since day one, automatically gets an email from me, and it goes something along the lines of, "Hey, my name's Ethan. I'm the founder of Chessreps. I'm a first-time founder, so you being a member means the world to me. If you have any feedback, you can respond to this email. You can join this Discord, or you can text me personally." And I literally give my personal number. So I've given out my first number to like tons of people, basically. It's not even like a work phone. It's like literally they just like text me or they WhatsApp me. And I get feedback this way. I'm so freaking receptive to feedback. I just want this to be the best website ever. And obviously hearing from other people, getting feedback is the best way to do that. So people like you, RedPanda, who like give me that feedback and tell me like what it would take for them to like the website, I love that. I'm super happy you told me. And yeah, I'm working really hard to go like, you know, meet those expectations.
Okay, that would be all. To be honest, if I offer any more advice, I feel like they should hire me as a consultant. This video has not been sponsored by Chessreps. I, at its current form, do not recommend Chessreps, but I really do enjoy how much Ethan is willing to improve the platform. If he does so, I'm willing to look at it again. See you guys next time. Bye bye.